Good morning and welcome to day 26 of the Being Challenge here at Ascension Lutheran Church in Citrus Heights. I'm Pastor Scott. And today is our seventh and final day on the keystone habit of prioritizing prayer. And today's theme is the power of persistency in prayer. Pastor Zach begins his reflection this morning by providing us with the parable of the unjust judge, and this woman who keeps coming back to the judge is persistent in her insistence that she receive justice from this judge. And the point being that if an unjust judge will respond to the petitions of a woman and he's unjust and doesn't care, how much more will our God in heaven respond to us if we're persistent as we come to God? I think one of the things about prayer is that by praying, we are beginning the definition of, or to define our relationship with God, to demonstrate our dependence upon God, to acknowledge God for who God is and who we are not. And Pastor Zach quotes Dallas Willard as to say that, believing is actually doing something as though it were true. So when we believe in something, we behave in a way as though we believe that that is true. And if we believe that there's power in prayer, then we need to pray. We need to be going to God with our concerns, with our petitions. We need to be honest with God about what's weighing on our hearts. Again, God already knows. But by going to God, by articulating that, by spending time with God, we are further demonstrating our faith and our trust. We are demonstrating that that which we say we believe, we actually believe. We're demonstrating that by our actions. Being people of prayer can be a challenge, especially when we don't know how our prayers might have been answered. Do you keep a prayer journal? Do you keep track of the prayers that you have made and seen how and where God has answered those prayers? Sometimes it's difficult to truly see and make those connections because it's not, God doesn't always answer in the way that is obvious to us. But do you keep track of that? Pastor Zach said, sometimes we've got a short attention span and we quit praying for something. We move on to whatever else is of concern for us that week. Do you keep a list of prayer concerns? I went to seminary with a woman who had a whole binder of prayers, and it took her 40 minutes to get through all of the petitions that she had. And I know we have some real faithful prayer warriors here at Ascension. We have members of our prayer chain who hear a request for prayer, maybe not with all the information, and nonetheless, they take that which they have been given and they pray as specifically as they can to God, acknowledging God is the one who answers those prayers, the one who provides healing and hope and reassurance. Those who are called to prayer, that can be a thankless task. Not because the prayers aren't answered, but in a situation like that, you may not know how they've been answered because you may not have been communicated back. And so we're grateful for those, especially in this community, who've answered that call from God to lift the rest of us up in prayer, even when they may not, the circle may not be closed and they may not know how things ultimately turn out. It's about that relationship with God, that persistency, that demonstrating our faith and trust in God, and regularly being about the work of being gathered with God in prayer and being honest with God about what weighs on our hearts and on our minds. This is our final day, as I said, on this, our third keystone habit as part of the Being Challenge. Tomorrow we'll introduce, it's already been introduced, but we'll have the first of 7 days on seeking solitude, the fourth of our keystone habits. So I hope you can join us tomorrow as we begin to explore the importance of solitude and Sabbath. Take care.